So, as I've noted before, the goal in unpacking our positionalities is not to necessarily get over these tensions in order to find freedom or liberation, because this could fall into the trope or the critique of post-coloniality, where we assume that problems don't exist, that we're free without constraint or blockages in an era of neoliberal happiness. This is similar to the notion of color blindness, where people are supposedly able to see all people from a place of pure equality despite where they come from. The problem with this notion of purity and freedom and acceptance is that it ignores the political, racialized, gendered constructions that continue to place people in certain positions. It's impossible to say that we're all equal. To do so would ignore the movement of power and how we are able to access and exercise it, ignoring how race, gender, and class continue to shape identities and our interactions with others perpetuates an illusion of neutrality that can be argued as being in the service of an ongoing colonial rationale, that we're all equal and ought to be treated the same and have the same rights. Yet, as many of us arrive as settlers on Indigenous lands, we're not equal. Last week's roundtable discussion, I think, spoke to this as they discussed settler identities and illuminated how these identities are so very unequal and often contradictory, and that no two people exercise power and privilege in the same way, and the ways in which they do so are constantly fluctuating. So then responding to these inequities requires that we notice difference, not to subsume it, but that we notice the ways in which we acquire power, privilege, and locate our positionalities within these constantly shifting and fluctuating webs of power. So I hope that this week has been an exercise in attending to these webs, not as a one-off activity, but rather as a moment within an ongoing sensitivity and responsivity to our positionalities within complex systems of neocolonial power.